We're going to start on our backs. So go ahead and lie down. Oops, excuse me. If you're not already there. And you can have your knees bent or straight, whatever is more comfortable for you. I recommend palms up to have that external rotation of your shoulders and arms. And that's kind of our focus. That is our focus for today, is opening up your chest area, your heart area. We did this last semester, but different poses and kind of with a different focus. So let's just first check in with your connection to whatever you're lying on. Notice all the points of contact. And start to notice your breathing. The sensation of your breath. And try putting your hands together over your chest in Namaste Mudra. And wherever your thumbs hit is pretty much what's described as your heart center. So, not your physical beating heart, but your metaphysical heart, sort of at the midline, sternum E area. And this is just a kind of an approximation of where that might be. And maybe put a hand or two on your chest for now. Now that you're aware of when people in yoga talk about their heart center, they're talking about this midpoint. Um, and today we're focusing on stepping out of our comfort zone and counteracting all of the crunch that we have all day. So this a fetal position, a crunch forward, these are all positions of protection. And anytime you open your shoulders up and back, that is a sense of vulnerability. Can't say that word very well at all. And the idea of challenging yourself a little bit while we're in hopefully a safe space to to challenge yourself, to allow yourself to be a little bit more vulnerable today. And one of the ways to do that is to focus on, instead of shoulders forward, pulling your shoulders back in these different poses that we'll do today. So it's a sense of opening and vulnerability. Very good. So try grabbing the tops of your knees and rocking left and right, just as to start us off on a self massage of our back. And then bring your knees in as tight as you can for a little bit of a self hug. Give yourself a hug. And then rock and roll forward and backwards at least 3 times and come up to sitting. I'm going to let someone in. Then go ahead and stand on your knees. So, mountain pose on your knees is where we're going to start. So, thinking about your foundation. As we do these chest openers, these back bends, really, it's your responsibility and obligation to yourself to have a strong foundation and a strong core, particularly lower belly, to protect your lower back, because you don't want to scrunch too much in here. Um, if you need something underneath your knees, grab something or accordion your mat if you have one, um, to cushion underneath your knees a little bit. And then let's start by externally rotating our palms so that your hands are facing forward and thinking about that up, back, and down position, drawing your shoulder blades in towards each other along your back. And then maybe pull your chin back a teeny bit to make sure that it's stacked, your ears are over your shoulders. And then instead of the puppet string pulling it through the top of your head, think about a string pulling from that heart center area, beaming like a light beam of light coming out from your chest. And have that be, and so instead of having the stack, maybe you have an arch to have a little bit of a beam feel. Maybe even look up at maybe the corner of your room or even up towards the ceiling. Not too much, keeping an even flow with between your neck and the rest of your spine. And then try your hands on your waist and bringing your elbows towards each other behind you. Really pulling your shoulder blades together and having your shoulders really far back. If you want to add a little puff of your chest here, if that makes sense to you and your body, please do so. And then even try to bring your thumbs closer to each other behind your back and see if you can get your elbows a little bit closer towards each other. Now, sometimes this pose is described as you can put your hands behind your back this way or your upper back. But when I do that, I roll my shoulders forward, and that's because I have that horrible shoulders, and so this is what it feels like for me. But that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for shoulders back as opposed to allowing your shoulder to roll forward. So notice that tendency that we have to roll forward. So, oh yeah, bring your shoulders like this, but I'm rolled forward. So I want to bring them back. And so therefore, this doesn't work as well for me. And some of you, we might try a swim, a big circle of your arm to externally rotate it. And some of you might be able to even reach a, a heel. You can do half camel. Keep on breathing. Come on out of it and try the other side just to see what it feels like. Backstroke until you touch your ankle. Noticing the chest pull, maybe your pec, your shoulder girdle, maybe your bicep, tricep area. Come on out of it. And some people might have the flexibility and strength to be able to bring both hands towards your ankles. That's not where I'm at this morning, particularly as our first pose, but some of you are super flexible. If you can, make sure that you're having that strong core so that you don't scrunch up your lower back. Come on out of it if you haven't already. Whew. And then we're going to go, as to counteract that, we'll go into down dog. I'm going to let someone in. Do that. Hold on. Okay. So remember we have a flip grid for down dog. So I get to see you doing your down dog. So let's review it a little bit. It doesn't have to be on the ground, but no matter what you're using for your down dog, the alignment points are the same. At this point, it's time for me to take off my socks so I don't slip. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm going to start in tabletop, but then I'm going to go wider than that. Bring my shoulder arms forward and maybe even on my pinkies off the edge of my mat. If you know that you do better using blocks underneath your hands or using a chair, please do so. Adjust to your down dog as needed. So I'm going to check in, tuck my toes, and then push my tush towards the sky. So we're upside down V, strong bend in my knees, externally rotating my upper arm, internally rotating my lower arm, gripping the mat with my hands, internally rotating my thighs, popping my booty up to the sky, and breathing. And then walk your hands back towards your feet. Keep your knees in a bend and allow your belly to almost rest on your thighs. Let your head dangle and be in a very gentle forward fold for a little bit. Sometimes it helps to grab your elbows or reaching towards the ground. And then come into half forward fold, torso relatively parallel to the ground. It's still internally rotating our thighs, still trying to pop our booties, still trying to have the spine aligned with the rest of our torso, trying not to have my shoulders next to my ears, and breathing. And then maybe clasp your hands behind you or wrists or forearms or elbows. And I'm going to try to lift my arm away from my body a little bit. To start to have that, accentuate that shoulder stretch. We're going to go ahead, release. Strong core, strong arms, back up to standing and back into mountain. Awesome. So now that we're in mountain, make sure that you're stacking, check in with your mountain, hips, knees, ankles all stacked, feet parallel to each other towards the front, arms externally rotated, tucking the chin back a teeny bit. And breathing. Now we're going to do a couple warm-ups from here. Let's start with slinky circles. So giant circles with your whole body. Pick a direction to start. Let your head and arms dangle and vertebra by vertebra move through a gigantic circle of your entire body. Let your head be the last thing to come up, and do it again. Same direction, same side. Super slow-mo so you don't get dizzy. And then let's try the other direction. So whatever direction you started with, go the opposite one. Vertebra by vertebra, ragdoll around. And a second circle, moving your second direction. just to get our spines moving. Ah, I'll let someone else in. Okay. And then, like we were doing on our knees, let's try this idea of beaming our hearts, having this sense of, of light shining out of our chest and pulling us in that direction. So, arms your waist first, bring your elbows towards each other behind you, arching your thoracic spine, maybe looking up as well. Try letting go with your of your waist, externally rotating your hands, but then bringing them back behind you like you're taking flight. And then maybe try to grab your hands or your wrists or forearms or elbows and see if you can lift up a little bit while maintaining that shoulder up and back as opposed to allowing your shoulders to rotate forward. See if you can keep them up and back. Beam from your heart. Go ahead and release. Now we're going to try a little bit of a balance pose, a tree. If you would like to have stability, grab a chair or use a wall. But otherwise, the fun of this going out of your comfort zone is trying a balance pose. So I'm going to shift my weight into my left foot, and variation one is just making a kickstand out of my right leg. My right knee is bent towards the right in line with the rest of my torso. My left knee is pointing straight ahead. Externally rotating my arms to be a tree, grabbing on if you want to. This seems pretty, you'd like a little bit more balance challenge, maybe pop onto putting your foot on your calf. If you're on the more flexible side, you might be able to put your foot above your thigh or above your knee on your thigh. Try not to put your foot directly on your knee because your knees aren't supposed to go in that direction. Knees are only supposed to bend forward and back. And then, as a getting out of our comfort zone idea, add branches and bring your tree into the wind and wiggle around until you fall out, and then come back into a variation of tree. The next part of a challenge in coming out of your comfort zone is seeing what happens if you close your eyes. Your brain interprets the signals much differently, and that you might find yourself getting super wobbly and fall out. And then go ahead and open, and let's switch sides. So kickstand option, calf option, thigh option, holding on to something. Start by is another option. Start externally rotating your arms, palms towards the front. Then add branches and put your branches into the wind until you fall and come back in. And then try shutting your eyes. And see how that shifts. Notice how this side might be different than the other side. And maybe your ankles are more stable on one side or the other. Just kind of notice how your body reacts. We're going to review the poses that we did last class, which described as the warrior dance, but we're going to approach it a little differently. So you're welcome to use a chair as support. You're welcome to, some of you, Savannah mentioned that you might want to sit in a chair for our warrior sequence. This works as well. I'm going to put this right here for now. Starting at the back of my mat, giant step forward with my right leg to come into, be able to come into a lunge, dropping onto my back foot at some kind of an angle, taking my torso and twisting it towards the front of the room, dropping into my front knee, trying to keep my shin vertical. Make sure you can see your toes over your foot. And traditionally, the arms overhead, right? Well, you can use your support if you'd like. But let's try more of this chest opening idea. So instead of bringing your arms overhead, just kind of bring your shoulders back and take that flight position like you're flying and beam from your heart. You can even shimmy a little bit because that's kind of fun. And if you'd like to, grab your hands behind you or whatever option you were using and lift a little bit, trying to make sure that your shoulders aren't rolling forward. Look up and keep breathing. Go ahead and straighten that front leg. Now here's where it's different. Shift both of your feet towards the front of the room, then twist your left foot out so it's parallel with the long ways of your mat. Right foot in slightly, drop into your lunge, turn your shoulders parallel towards the front of your mat. Try to balance your weight between your feet, and then instead of arms up, try arms back. Take flight. Beam with your heart. Energetically pull your legs together. Really grip the ground with your feet. Every inhale, maybe reach up with that string pulling from your heart. Every exhale, check in with your foundation. Perhaps use a support or be sitting on something. And one more breath here, and then feet together, turn around, and let's do our next pose, which is Warrior Two. For Warrior Two, you might like a slightly larger stance than we did for Warrior One. So again, this is where socks can be dangerous, a hazard, a health hazard. Giant step with my right leg, dropping my back foot, dropping into my lunge. But for Warrior Two, your chest remains looking at the screen, right? Right arm over right knee, left arm over left leg. And traditionally, we've been doing palms down. Let's try palms up. Again, externally rotating that arm. And pretend that you're Atlas holding the world in your arms. And breathe. Every inhale, maybe arch your back a teeny bit, keeping a strong core. And then exhale, maybe drop into your lunge a teeny bit more. Double check that you can at least see your big toe. And go ahead and straighten the front knee, feet parallel to each other as we switch sides. So then left foot pointed straight. Right leg in slightly, drop into your lunge, add arms, palms up, and then beam your heart. Maybe look up and breathe. Just as you need. And then feet together at the back. Let's turn around and do our third pose, which is reverse warrior. So giant step forward with your right leg, dropping the back foot, dropping into a lunge in your right knee. Now, reverse warrior is the side bend. So start with your shoulders square to the camera or the screen, and then your left hand glides down your left leg, and then externally rotate your right hand, palms up, bring it up. Instead of bringing it all the way up over next to your ear, pick whatever distance is good for you and then bring your arm behind your body. So you're starting to twist a little bit in your thoracic, your rib cage spine. So still a side bend in your waist, but twisting your upper body, your rib cage up towards the ceiling, and maybe even look up towards the ceiling of your space and breathe. And one more inhale here and exhale. Straighten feet parallel to each other in the front. Switch feet orientation. Drop into the lunge in your left knee. Take your right hand, glide it down your right leg. Maintain a crunch of your waist. Externally rotate your left hand palm up. Bring it up as high as is comfortable, and then bring that palm behind you to allow your upper body to twist up towards the ceiling, maybe even looking up as well. And breathe. Inhale, maybe arch your back a teeny bit more. Well, beam your upper rib cage a teeny bit more. And exhale, drop into your lunge or try to pull your legs together to have that strong foundation. One more breath here. Straighten the leg and feet together. And we have one more pose for this. And if you are doing it in a chair, so giant step forward with your right leg. This time, this is the one where you bring your right forearm over your thigh, trying not to collapse your shoulder next to your ear, pushing out so that you have space between your shoulder and your ear. Whoops, I need to plug in my phone. Luckily, it's all set up right here. Okay, we're back. Sorry. Externally rotating the left hand, bringing it up as high as is comfortable. But again, allowing your arm to flop behind you. Maybe looking up. For some of you, if you can keep the external rotation of your shoulder, some of you might even be able to reach around and grab your hip crease and look up still, pushing out of your shoulder and the other arm. But only if you're still opening up with your shoulder and not rolling it forward. Okay, let's switch. Come on up to vertical, or straighten your front leg. Switch your feet orientation. Drop into your lunge on your left knee. Left forearm, left thigh, externally rotating your right hand, bringing it up as high as you want, and then behind you, perhaps even looking up towards the sky and breathing. Now, having these open chest openers can sometimes bring up things for you, like emotions, a hot flash, a change of heart rate. One more breath. Come on back up to vertical. Straighten your legs, feet together, and stand back up again. Unless you're on a chair. Now we're going to come to the ground. Actually, I need to come over here. Check the time. So to get to the ground, let's do a sun salutation modified. So stand in mountain, externally rotating your hands on your next inhale, arms up, exhale, forward fold, hinging at your hips. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, come on down to hands and knees, and then all the way down onto your belly. And we're going to do a couple variations of cobra and locust. So cobra is when you just peel your chin and chest and shoulders off the ground. So lead with your shoulders. Your next inhale, shoulders, chest, chin. Exhale, lower down. Do it again. Inhale, chest, shoulders, and chin off the ground. Exhale, down. And for the last one, let's put our arms next to our sides and try lifting palms down and lifting up from there. Inhale, lift. So it's a hands-free one. And exhale, lower. Locust is when you add legs. So let's start with left leg all by itself. Lift, try to get air under. You don't have to lift it high. Keep your legs straight, but try to get air underneath your knee and your thigh. And lower. Right leg, lift and lower. Then let's do chest and left leg. Inhale, lift and lower. Right leg and chest, lift and lower. Now either repeat that or do everything off the ground at the same time. Legs and arms. Inhale, lift and lower. Exhale. And one more, or switching your leg. Inhale, lift and lower. Awesome. Then bend your left knee and see if you can grab your left foot. Now, most of us grabbed it, the outside of our left foot. Try externally rotating your hand so that your palm is on the arch of your left foot and maybe your thumb is towards the big toe, because that'll externally rotate your shoulder. Now, we're going to do half bow from here. So lifting chest and one leg, but within the bow position. So on your next inhale, lift, try to get some air, and actually let's hold it for one full breath. And lower. And then let's switch sides. Externally rotating your hand, grabbing the arch. If you're having trouble, you could use a strap as well to make your arms a little longer. Inhale, lift. Really press into your hand, pulling your shoulder back. Hold, and then lower. And then we'll either repeat left and right, or if you're interested in trying to grab both feet to lift off, you're welcome to do that. I'm going to repeat the first one. So either both feet or one at a time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Switch legs. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Awesome. To counteract all of that, let's go into child's pose. So all those back bends should be counteracted. And find your child's pose. For me, it's knees wide, toes together, and then flopping into the space that I've created. Some people prefer putting their knees together. Some people prefer having their thighs vertical and coming down into a position of comfort and rest. So it's basically like a weighted fetal position. It's one of the reasons why people like it so much because it has that protective, like your own, you're making your own weighted blanket while you're in this protected fetal position. So after those, vulnerable inducing back bends, counteracting that with child's pose should bring security, a feeling of comfort. And let's see if you can breathe into your lower back, particularly because your belly is probably crunched. See if you can direct the air into your lower back and create expansion in your lower back area. Some people like to look out. Some people like to stack their fists for their forward forehead. Some people like to put their forehead on a block. There are variations with your arms as well. Arms can be forward or just bent near your head, or your arms can be draped at your sides. Find the position of comfort for you and breathe. Go ahead and come out of child's pose and onto a seated position with your legs straight in front of you. And put your hands behind you. I recommend fingers out so that you can maintain that external rotation of your shoulder. And try to have a long spine. Flex your feet, press into your heels, your calves, your thighs. And basically, it's this sense of down dog from a seated position. So, those same cues, externally rotating your upper arm, internally rotating your lower arm, head in line with everything else, internally rotating your thighs. For some people, it even might be helpful to physically move the flesh out of the way to help with that internal rotation of your thigh. And then let's try to really simulate down dog in a seated position by adding arms next to our ears. So externally rotating your hand, bringing it up, at least one up next to your ear. And if you're feeling like you a little bit of a challenge, add the second one. And here we are, down dog, using different surfaces. One more inhale here, and then go ahead and release. Let's do tree, a seated tree. So bring your left leg into tree, your right leg straight, foot flexed, pressing into your strong right leg. Twist your torso so that's over your extended leg. And then keeping your spine tall, bend towards your extended leg. The goal is bringing your belly towards your thigh. And at this point, we're still trying to beam with our hearts. So instead of bringing your nose to your knee, see if you can look up even as you are isolating your hamstring, calf, in this little stretch of sitting tree pose into forward fold. Come on out and let's switch sides. So left leg extended, right leg in tree. Flex the left foot, push down with the whole left leg so that you can have a little bit more length in your torso. And then lean forward as much as you can while maintaining that integrity of your spine and adding a little bit of a beam of your heart towards, at least straight ahead, if not towards the ceiling. Bringing your belly towards your thigh. One more breath and come on out. And let's go into butterfly. So feet together. This is a lot of stress on your knees. You can put blocks underneath your knees, but tall spine, again, beaming your heart, using your calves, or not your calves, your shins as traction to help you pull your spine tall. And some of you are going to stay right here, but if you're on the more flexible side, you can start to lean forward. But again, keeping your spine tall and long, and beaming your heart. One more breath here. And come on out of that. And let's go ahead and return to our backs in whatever position is comfortable for you. Let's start on our backs, and do that self massage again, rocking and rolling in different directions, maybe even doing circles with your knees. And then trying a self hug again. And now go ahead and find your favorite Shavasana position. So that's corpse pose, traditionally on your back, basically mountain pose while lying down. But there's all sorts of variations. Knees bent, feet against the wall on your side, on your belly. It doesn't matter. I'm going to sit up and come closer to talk to you as we do a guided meditation. It's a meditation we did last semester, I believe, with the same sequence. It's called a heart meditation. From wherever you are, see if you can release a little bit of the tension that you might be holding in your chest area. See if you can focus your breathing in that heart center, chest. Focus your awareness on your heart. See if your breathing can radiate from that heart center space and flow throughout your entire body. Allow your gentle nature to emerge and allow your love to flow in your heart. Be the most loving person you can imagine being. Maybe say to yourself, I am love. I am love. I am love. Allow yourself to say, I love everything about myself. I am my own best friend in life. I trust in love. See if you can bathe yourself in the own love emanating from your heart. Maybe allow this loving energy to flow outside of the boundaries of your body and reach out to the people in your life that you care for. Feel that love expand and flow. Keep expanding that love to encompass the entire planet. Your loving energy blanketing, lighting, warming the whole planet. Maybe even visualize embracing the earth in a hug. Know that you are healing the earth as you send your love and allowing it to flow as best you can for right now. See if you can be at peace with yourself and confident in the realization that you are the source of love in your life. I am love. And then go ahead and start to lengthen your breathing again. Take a big inhale and exhale. Take another big breath with an audible exhale. Maybe you sigh with an ah. Inhale. Then start to wiggle, maybe fingers and toes. Maybe do wrist circles and ankle circles. Bring yourself into a fetal position, either on your back or on your side. Take a breath or two here. And then, if you're on your back, rock and roll yourself up to sitting. Or if you're on your side, maybe gently push your torso back up to vertical. And may the love in you flow to and from the love in me. Namaste. Thank you, everybody.